But I'm gonna go because I'm really excited to ask you about your the concept you are teaching and coaching around leading from your core.
Yeah.
So can you describe it? Like, what is it? And yeah, the essence of it.
Sure. Yeah. I'll describe it by sharing a story.
Yeah.
So the early part of the pandemic, 2020, here in the UK, it was May. We were in the UK, we were only allowed to go out for one walk a day as a family. And so the evening, I think everyone had done their work, homework, schoolwork, and we went out for a walk with my wife and I went out for a walk with our three boys. And we went into this lovely woodlands near us. And the boys love exploring and riding their bikes and walking around. And this day, as we were walking, I saw a big tree on the ground. And I was curious, and I thought, I looked around and every other tree was still up. But why this tree? Why this tree on the ground? A few days before, yes, there had been storms and winds, but it still didn't explain why this was the only tree on the ground. And then I get closer and I get closer and I get closer. And then I realize, now I see why this is the only tree on the ground. And I get my phone out and I take a photo of this. And I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? This explains what is happening to so many leaders around the world. Because the reason this tree was the only one on the ground was because it had very shallow roots. It wasn't deep. It didn't have the resilience it needed. And I see this with leaders all the time, right? They're very focused on the external. Oh, I need to manage my team. And oh, we need to manage the competition. And oh, this is going on in the market. And there's all externals, VUCA, that volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity is all around us. But what they fail to do is say, okay, but what's going on inside of me? What are the fears it's bringing up? Being a leader is challenging because you have pressures coming at you all of the time. You've got your targets to meet. You've got emotional challenges within your team, relational challenges within your team, business challenges. You've got competition, all sorts of things. This puts an incredible amount of pressure on you as a leader. If you don't have that internal resilience, if you don't have that depth, if you don't know what you stand for, if you don't have the right mental habits, if you have limiting beliefs, then you'll be exactly like that tree. All of the difficulties will come and then you'll come crashing down and people burn out. I had a sad story of that I shared of someone in the book who committed suicide because of all of the pressure that's coming at them, right? There's divorce rates, there's dysfunctional relationships, there's organizations not achieving productivity or performance levels because leaders don't have that internal strength to really navigate the challenges and bounce back quicker and come back with a clearer mind and a clearer focus of what they need to do and how they need to show up and a way of recharging. So that's really what's at the heart of the book. It's saying all of the externals, yes, you've got to have a clear vision as an organization. Yes, you've got to have the right tools and processes and governance in place. But as a leader, if you don't know how to put your oxygen mask on and make sure you are at your best, so you're not running on empty, then I guarantee you will not be able to handle the challenges and difficulties of life in a way that's purposeful, in a way that's authentic, in a way that's courageous, in a way that is effective. And lots of leaders are running on empty. They're running on fumes, and therefore they're not really winning the hearts and minds of their people because they haven't done that hard work of digging deep on the inside. And so my book is about helping people to do that more effectively.
So your book and your programs you're creating, they're based on certain characteristics and principles which are helping leaders to actually start leading from their core, first themselves and then other people around them.
Absolutely.
So actually, I'm totally in that. And as I said, this self-leadership idea, I see that this is going way more. It's way more accepted in the Western world right now, because people realize that it's not. I mean, for example, I'm in Bulgaria, and there are still leaders here who would say, for example, you go to the organization and say, okay, you teach them, I know everything.
Sure.
And this is the moment when I realized that this will happen here. I don't want to work with this organization. Because if the leader is seeing himself or herself that he knows everything, then nothing can happen there. You can teach whatever you want the people below, but if this person who is above them doesn't want to learn and it's not open to change and improve, means nothing. You don't need to do anything. And that's, I'm talking to other people who are working with this kind of organizations, that they say, but it doesn't happen. How do you expect to happen if the people above, they don't care? And this is the thing. And another thing is when you go to and see a leader who is like, wow, yeah, that's super exciting, I want to be part of this. This means that this person wants to learn, and this is super important here, because if the leader starts to develop himself or herself, everyone below them, we know in the organizations, we look at the leader as the authority, right? We want to follow them. Like what they do, we're going to do it, because he or she is like the person who is above. So this is the thing. As I said, it's super important for the leader, and the work you do is so valuable for this kind of leaders, because in this way you really can help the organizations to work properly and to really escape these things like you said, suicides or different other problems, breakdowns which people go through because they don't know how to handle themselves and lead themselves in a way. So definitely it's super important. And now the last thing which we're going to talk about is, can we just share with us first steps or principles you're using, so that people, if they want and say, okay, I want to lead from my core, but how? What should I do now?
Sure.
How can I get to this core?
Yeah.
So can you share with us? What?
There are loads, and what one thing I'll say, and I'm happy to send this to you, Dimi, and if you want to put it in the show notes, that I've got a resource called the A to Z of personal leadership success. So that gives 26 principles that people can apply that will help them develop their core. The thing that I would just want to make clear is that, core is an acronym, and it's 4 attributes that really help you develop an internal strength and resilience. So C stands for clear values. Do you know what your values are? Do you know what you stand for? If I call a leader here and say, okay, so what are you about? What are your values? What do you stand for? If you're saying, then I know you're already weak on the inside, because it's when you know what you stand for that you can course correct. And let's say there's a difficulty or there's a challenge, or you're having to deal with some major crisis in your business. A bit like a plane. If a plane is moving off target, the values help you course correct and say, okay, this is the destination. This is where I'm going. The same reason the organizations have values, so that they know what they need to stand for. Individuals, leaders need to have values. So that's one thing. There's more, but that's one. The second one, O, is optimistic worldview. So an optimistic worldview is, how do you see the world? Do you see the world as, oh, the glass is half empty, and oh, there isn't enough for us, and oh, I need to take my bit, and oh, I can't develop that person in my team because if I help them grow, then I'm out of a job and I don't have work, and no, so I'm going to keep them down. If you have an optimistic worldview, you will limit yourself and you'll limit your team. So you need to think, okay, how do I know my team? How do I grow my team? How do I talk about one specific way that people can develop an optimistic worldview is, I say, zero in on compelling goals. And I describe a compelling goal as a calm goal, CALM. So does this goal require courage? Does this goal help me become alive? Does this goal help me learn? Does this goal, is it meaningful to me? So when you're pursuing those types of goals, that stretches your mind and helps you to see more opportunities, more, just overcome more of the challenges and difficulties that most people just say, oh, there's a problem, that's a dead end, that's it. But when you are focused on, you've got this optimistic worldview, you're able to see more opportunities than most people do. And it just really shifts your mindset from a scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset in the way that you see the world. So R stands for rewarding habits. And some people might say, oh, rewarding habits, is that, oh, drink water and go exercise? Yes, but the way I talk about it is more of the internal habits. What's your mental habit? What's your self-talk? Neuroscientists say that 77% of our self-talk is negative. So you've got to be in the habit of reframing that and catching yourself. And what you were saying, Dimi, earlier on, like you wake up and you're intentional about, how am I going to think? I am going to think as a creator. I'm going to think as someone who's going to do good in the world. One of the questions that I get leaders to ask is, how can I create the most good in the world today?
Wow.
How can I create the most good? So getting into the habit of just looking at your beliefs, your self-talk, what are you saying? And then how do you reframe that? So that's one example there, just changing your inner critic into an empowering coach with the different questions that you ask. And then the final part is empowering beliefs. So the beliefs that I have about me, the beliefs that I have about you, our beliefs, and you alluded to this earlier on, our beliefs start as a child, right? And we almost have no choice over that. So mother, father, minister, priest, imam, whatever, they say, believe this. And you're like, okay, I believe it. But then as we get older, we don't always take the time to say, but is this a useful belief? People say, oh, Obi, you can't do this, or you can't do that, or Dimi, you can't. Is that a useful belief? Does that belief serve the world? If it doesn't, then I need to discard it and look for beliefs that are healthier, beliefs about people. Some people might say, yeah, but I'm the boss and I tell them what to do and I need to know everything. Why do you need to know everything? Your people, you've got incredible people around you. Reframe how you see leadership as, I'm going to help my people be the best that they can be, rather than my people are there to help me look good. So that's a way of just reframing our beliefs so that they really are empowering us. So that's core stands for clear values, optimistic worldview, rewarding habits, empowering beliefs, and just some examples of how to go about practically bringing that into our lives and just giving us an internal strength that helps us show up as very purposeful leaders who really do get the best out of others, because we know how to get the best out of ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing this concept. I'm so excited about it and inspired by it. When I was listening, I was just thinking, wow, that's so true. Every part of it. If we learn to do the core in our life and apply it, definitely I'm sure that people, they will just be more courageous, more optimistic, with more constructive habits, with empowering beliefs. So that will create, guys, a big transformation in your life. So we're gonna stop here. We were really with so many things here. You're gonna listen to that, I'm sure, several times and write down so many things. So if you want to contact Obi, what is the best way if people wants to learn more about what you do and maybe work with you?
Sure, yeah. So we're Core Leaders International. We're focused on coaching and training leaders in the area of personal mastery. So you can go to the Core Leaders website, so www.coreleaders.co.uk, or you can look for me on LinkedIn or Twitter, Obi Abuchi, and I'd be more than happy to connect and serve and support in whatever way we we can.
Thank you, man. So just a last sentence, which you want to share with the audience, what you want to leave them with.
I would say this has become one of my life quotes. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and go and do that, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. And what the world needs is more leaders who are alive, because they've really connected with who they are on the inside, and they're able to bring that energy and that passion to the way that they lead every day. So that's what I'd say.
Thank you, Obi Abuchi. Thank you for being here with us and giving your wisdom. And
thanks, Dimi.
Yeah, have a lovely, lovely